Welcome to the Joyful Miles podcast, the podcast that is all about inspiring you to enjoy life 1 mile at a time. I'm your host, Rob, and joining us this week, we have Laura.
Hi, everybody.
And Jackie.
Hi, everyone.
And ladies, we are finally coming to the end of our Dopey journey, and we are running our very last race, the full marathon. So sad.
So sad.
It's pretty amazing how fast things go by, right?
It's been a month, right? Is it already?
Yeah, I mean, God, it was almost a month ago that we left to go down there. And then, you're down there and you're thinking, oh, I got to run all these miles. And it's like all of a sudden you're here at the very last race. So how are we all feeling leading up into the beginning of this race?
Well, I was stressing because of my injury. I was stressing because of the weather. I was tired of being cold. I don't know. We all just seemed very off at the beginning.
It was very off. I mean, I personally was really hitting my wall before the race even started, and I was really concerned about it because it was another cold morning. And granted, it wasn't as cold as it had been, but it was still, 40 maybe? I think it was in the low 40s.
Yeah.
So it was still cold, and, I was just not looking forward to being cold. I just wanted to be warm. I wanted to be done. And in my head, I was worried because, we've been running the whole week together, and we kept having discussions like, how are we going to run this race? And Jackie was adamant, with how she's trained, like she was going to do run walk pretty much from the beginning. And I'm like, in my head, I was like, I don't think I can slow down in this race. I want to get through it as quickly as possible and just be done and call it a day. And I was, kind of internally struggling with, okay, because at the same time, you want to have fun. We wanted to stick together. But
I knew I had to do that. Well, which I didn't end up doing, but in my head, I'm like, I have to do it right from the beginning. It's the only way I'm going to make it all 26. That's the way I train. But I knew you guys, that wasn't going to work for you. So I knew, like, if you stayed, you would be miserable. And then that puts pressure on me, so we kind of all had an agreement, like, we just got to do what's best for ourselves at this point. Mm-hmm. And I think we are all pretty, we understood that early on. Like, we're going to start together and be in the corrals together. But, once it started, we just kind of had to do what was best. When it comes to 26 miles, you got to do what's best for you. You can't push to be faster or even hold yourself back. It's tough.
And we were all pretty well trained, I think, going in. Laura, how were you feeling coming out?
I wasn't trained. I could only get up to 10 miles because I had a setback with my foot in October, and then I got really sick for a week. I lost a week there, so I kind of had to start over, and my doctor really wasn't thrilled with the thought of me running the marathon. So I had that concern. I was training with intervals. I could have gone either way. But Rob, something that you and I noticed, we didn't talk about this, but what race was it where we just kept having to do these like very short strided running? And because we couldn't run at a normal stride when we were running, it really hurt my legs. Do you remember which race that was?
Yeah, I think it was the half that I started feeling that. And that was the other part, because I was like, I don't know if I could do another race like that where we're running like these shorter strides. Like, I felt like I really had to open it up because I was really tight.
Right.
I think I talked about this the last show, like just with the cold and everything, I was having a hard time getting loose. So I was concerned that I was going to have to run by myself, and I didn't really want to do that, because we spent so long gearing up for this week, and it was just so disheartening to think that, the grand climax of this race, it was going to be just like a dud. And that's how it was looking to be. And
yeah, I did not want to run by myself. And
yeah,
so, I remember when, Jackie, you remember this, when we did Goofy and we were doing our first marathon, we both woke with this amazing calm feeling. We weren't stressed. We weren't worried. It was really lovely. And, this time was exact opposite. We did leave. I can't even remember. Did we leave before the bus service started or not? I can't remember. Do you guys remember?
I think we did leave early because we wanted to get in the corrals early. I think it was the half that we were a little later. We still got there pretty early. But we did go to the corrals really early, and we were just sitting there. It felt like a long time.
I think the marathon was like the one race we didn't see anybody before the race because
we got the Dopey picture. We did the Dopey.
And then I think we went to our corral, and we didn't have, intricate costumes this one, which made it nice and easy. I have to say, the getting ready, getting dressed, that was so much easier.
But Laura, to piggyback off what you were talking about, normally for races, I'm very chill. I'm very relaxed going into them. I don't stress about much of anything. And this race was not the same. It wasn't like, it was off. Like I was just annoyed. I was stressed. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I wasn't stressed or about the finishing piece. I mean, I felt pretty good physically and training wise, and having just run New York a couple months before, I knew I was going to be fine. But just the overall experience, I was really worried about it. Because this was one of my favorite races.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to this race so much. Just to have that, it was a weird pall over all of us. Like, even the corral,
you could tell. Rob and I were the only ones who did commentary for the videos, and this is why I love to do that. Is because I want to capture the emotion. I want to capture how we were feeling to be accurate. And both you and I, we even say like there's like this huge mellow vibe in the corrals. Like you could tell everyone had a lot on their minds. We had a lot on our minds. So yeah, it was just very, very quiet, very, I don't want to say the word tense, but just very,
I think for me, I wasn't nervous, or I almost was just like numb. I think I was just like numb. I knew I'd be okay to run. I accepted, I'm going to be running this alone. And I just wanted to get going. Like knowing in my head, I'm like, I'm pretty much probably going to be doing this whole thing alone. I just want to get started. I want to get going because let's just get it over with, which is like the worst thing. We tell everyone it was against everything we advise. But that's just my mental state, was just checked out.
I think the strategy that we kind of decided on was, Laura, we were going to try to stick together as long as we could. We were going to keep characters to a minimum. I think we were still planning on like playing our one card each.
Yeah.
And it's funny how quickly this race turned.
Yeah.
And for the better.
And I was going to start intervals immediately. Our friend Josh was running, and he is like, I'll keep you posted. He started a couple corrals behind me. So my plan was to run solo, and then he was going to just text me his whereabouts and hopefully maybe catch up, and maybe I'd have some company at some point. So that was what I was going into it.
So we started the race, fireworks going off, uneventful there. But I do remember the best moment for me, probably of the entire race, was Rob, you and I we were on the left side of the highway. We were coming up to where the high school band was. And all of a sudden, I just felt this lift. I just felt this, like, I don't know, all the weight coming off my shoulders. I just had that joyous, calm, happy feeling. And I turned to Rob and I was like, Rob, let's try something different for this race. Let's not complain once. Let's not complain about the cold, nothing. And we were going to do a strike system, 3 strikes and you're out. And I think the loser had to buy beers or something like that. But I just felt this I felt elated. And that was at that moment I knew that it was going to be a great race. We were going to have a great time, and I was ready to go.
It was the perfect boost, I think. It was the perfect thing we needed, like that early in the race, just to kind of really set the tone and set the the feeling of the rest of the race. And even after we started running, I almost felt better immediately because I wasn't as cold. Even though we were still cold and it was still cold, I think we were really starting to feel it kind of turn a little bit. Like, once we kind of started running, we kind of felt like by the end of this race, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time all week. There was that hope. It was like, I think this is
a little warm.
And we had this reminder of why we love this and why we sign up for this and why we thrive on this challenge. And even the bad, quiet, tense moments, we still love it. That's why we sign up for this, because it's not called a challenge for, it's a challenge. That's why it's called that. But okay, so our strategy, of course, remember, was very few character photos. So we did pass Lightning McQueen and Mater. They were like, what, Jackie, like around after the mile 2?
Mile 2.
Mark. Mm-hmm.
And for me, just to throw in, for me, I was going to do intervals immediately. But again, I started running and I felt good. So I'm like, I'm just going to run until I don't feel good. Yeah. And I ran all the way to nonstop to Lightning McQueen and Mater. So you guys, I figure you guys are way ahead of me. So I stopped for them, and I did get their pictures with them, which turned out really cute, actually. So I'm glad I did.
That was a cute
And I think, and while I was in line for that, I think I got a text from you guys saying you were in line for Scrooge McDuck. Is that right? And Launchpad.
I was really hoping for Darkwing Duck too, because I haven't seen Darkwing Duck. But Launchpad was one of my guys, and I saw him, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop with this. And then it just got there.
And I'm thinking maybe I can catch up to them, and so I'm like running. Now I'm like running. I was really running fast. I'm like, maybe I could catch them. And then I think I text you guys like, are you still in line? And then you were like, yeah. And I could see the back of the line. And you guys were like maybe number 3 from the front.
Yeah,
well, we had Heather with us too. Heather stopped and got a picture with us too. So it was
cool. So we all got together.
Yeah, it was lovely.
It was funny. After that stop, it was like, okay, we're stopping at the next one. Because I think in the back of our heads, we knew that's where Jack and Sally were. And I think we expected it to be them again, but it wasn't. Yeah. It was actually a really cool photo op. It was the Evil Queen, from Snow White, and then sitting in this throne picture. It was really cool. We did our kind of thug life poses.
Oh my gosh, that is the dumbest picture. You guys
are so not gangster. Leslie and Shannon actually. The Queen of Hearts and Maleficent was out later on. It was 3 of them that they got pictures with.
That made sense because there was 3 thrones.
And then we hit the mile 5. And then, we did split up. And Rob and I went in to Magic Kingdom together, which was glorious and beautiful and so many spectators out. And we got pictures. Remember getting pictures with the 2 trolleys?
Yes. It was a little lighter out, I think, this time. I think it was a little later by the time we got into Magic Kingdom this time. So it was a lot lighter out.
Yeah,
definitely.
So not as many fancy lights, but it was still pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome running down Main Street. And we got a picture, you and I, Rob, got a picture with the castle again before we came into Tomorrowland. That was a cute shot.
Mm-hmm. And I waited for, at that point, Josh was texting. He was, coming into the park. So we took photos of each other in front of the castle and then made our way to Tomorrowland, where we stopped. He stopped for Buzz while I ran to the bathroom, and you guys bypassed?
We decided to skip Buzz. But we did see the White Rabbit and Tweedledee and Tweedledum by the teacups. So we did stop for that. That was a good
Tweedles, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the White Rabbit. You're the one who remembered how it was fortune teller Donald in front of Storybook Circus.
Yeah, because he's always there. Same with Goofy the day before. It was the same characters you can get there. So we skipped that, and we skipped Sebastian again.
Yeah, that was a crazy, crazy long line. Guess who was at the castle then? Drusilla and Anastasia. Oh my gosh. But that was a cool spot. Still think it's awkward. But we get to the castle, and Rob and I got a nice castle pitch. We did not go for a jump shot. I kind of regret that. Jackie did do the jump shot, and that turned out great.
I don't know. My face always looks like chins. So I don't know. I need to stop trying.
I think people tend to tense their face up when they try for
it's almost like
I do that all the time. You got to relax your face. Then we came to Woody and Jesse.
Woody and Jesse in Frontierland, and the location's a little weird because if you know the pass through between Frontierland and Adventureland, there's those bathrooms in that hallway, and they were like right by that entrance. So people were like constantly passing back and forth to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So they were basically cutting in front of the photographer trying to take pictures. So
then it was mile 6 and the train, and rather than me get hit by the train, Rob did.
Yeah.
The first time getting run over by the train.
Yeah.
They did have, was that the pageant thing after that? The
float?
Parade?
The Maleficent float?
Yeah, was that after?
Yes,
that was in the back. Right when you start going backstage by the parade floats where they kind of store them all.
Yeah, they had that on you.
They had some
and they had the stilt walkers out from the parade.
Did you guys stop for those or no?
We got us over the shoulder selfie.
Yeah.
Then we came up to mile 7 and we left Magic Kingdom, and we saw the penguins after Cone Alley. So Rob and I got a picture, and then we heard from you and Josh. So we all 4 of us got.
I was like, let's get back in line because the line was pretty short. It was like
it wasn't
4
huge.
people.
It was a very short.
Hardly any line. That was a really good shot.
That was great.
And then this, Jackie, was when we saw the cast member gentleman that you spoke about.
Richard.
Yes. Is his name Richard?
Richard, the
So
greeter
cute.
from Grand Floridian.
I was so excited about that because I always read about him on like, you know, the different Facebook groups or people who see him at the Grand Floridian. He was out there cheering, and
Yep.
we got a picture with him, a selfie with him.
Okay, so after the Penguin and Richard, we once again came upon the wedding pavilion, and the wedding guys were out. I'm sure there's a better word for them, but we're calling them the wedding guys. All right, so then we came to mile 8, and Robin started to geek out in a major way because he saw a big display of old ride carts. Go ahead, Rob.
This is typically, this is that stretch, you know, between Magic Kingdom and on your way to Animal Kingdom where you really don't have a lot of stuff usually. And I thought it was really cool how they did it this year. So they started off by having all the old ride vehicles from Mr. Toad's, Snow White, and the Skyway. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then they had the Nautilus from the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea as a background too. So it was really, really cool to see those. But they had a couple of cast members, I think were both legit old Adventurers Club cast members, performers. And they were hysterical. They were a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
The giant martini glass. And
we all reunited around this point after mile 9, coming up to mile 10.
Great character stop. It was funny because at first it was kind of hard to see what it was. And it was Hades with Pain and Panic from Hercules, whom I've never seen.
So excited.
And Hades, because I've seen, like, if you go on the cruise and, like, sometimes they have a performance with the villains and you see, like, a live action sort of interpretation of Hades. I never saw, like, the full-on costumed Hades, and it looked fantastic. It was really good looking. And
we met Clarabelle Cow, too, right?
Yeah, she was by, we ran into Jen. We ran into Jen Sorensen somewhere before that. She did a guest post on our blog, very lovely post. And yeah, so she was by the topiaries, Clarabelle.
Okay.
And we saw Robin there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. And then the little animals. And now we're getting into.
Not many animals. They had stilt walkers. They had the stilt guys out.
And the dancers from the Lion King show.
From Lion King.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we only got a picture with the goat that had the goat fort blanket on.
And I think that was the only one that we had out. I think it was too cold for these animals to be out because it was nothing.
I heard though of different ones just listening to some other recaps, and Shannon and Leslie had a couple different. So maybe maybe they were just bringing them out for shorter periods of time.
Yeah.
So cool.
And then we came into Animal Kingdom, which is my favorite park to run through. I just think it's so lovely and so cute. And we saw Timon and Rafiki on the right there by the food market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you come into Harambe. And we skipped them. I think the line was probably too long.
It was crazy long. But we did talk to King Louie.
And his line was short.
Yeah, we saw King Louie. I think he was...
he was alone.
He was in Asia, like right to the left of... Right before you got to...
Right before Everest.
At that point, I know Everest... It wasn't like we were going to do it. Then all of a sudden, you guys are like, zoom...
And I say this, it was so impulsive because I didn't think I was going to do it. I just didn't think it was going to happen. And I look at Rob and he's like a kid, like so excited.
It was one of those things, like you, Jackie, like I really, really wanted to do it. But like in the back of my head, I was like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. We're just not going to time it right. It's going to be too long of a wait. We're going to get stuck.
The balloon ladies were, I can't remember exactly where they were.
They were 2 miles behind us.
Right.
So in my head, I was like, okay, we've got at least a half an hour.
That was a mile too close for me.
And if this is a 20-minute wait, I think we're okay. I think if it goes longer than that, we're really pushing it.
It was sweating, it was stressful the whole time.
I'll go on record. I did not want to do it.
I didn't want to do it.
And of course, I don't like losing control. I imagine the worst case scenario for that. So, and I'm thinking Dopey Metal, ride Everest, Dopey Metal, ride Everest. So I didn't want to do it at first, but I did not want to go off by myself either. So it was like, it was a total peer pressure moment. I got a bad feeling about this. Peer pressure at its finest. So I went along.
Well, Rob was like, yes. And then you could tell you didn't want to, but yet you went with us. And then I'm in the middle because I'm like, okay, if this goes bad, this is going to be really bad. This girl's going to kill me. Like, just not only that, obviously I would have been mad too. So I was kind of like teetering. Because I remember at one point I said, Laura, if you want to get off, let's just get off. Let's get out of line. Let's just do it.
I was
Let's
just
do it.
in line. I didn't want to be the party pooper because
I know.
Party pooper.
And I didn't want you to feel that way. But then Rob was like a statue. Like, his legs were glued to the line. Like, it was like, I'm like, he's not moving.
Crapping my pants.
Well, then.
But I knew once we got in that little house, it was going to go fast.
Once we actually got into like the area, and then I started filming, I was like, "Oh, F it, can't go back now. Might as well enjoy it." And then we started to have fun. And oh my God, there's no track. Where did it go? But I do remember, like, I did say to Rob, because it was fantastic, but I couldn't admit it until we actually safely crossed the finish line. Yeah. So I was like, there's something I'm going to tell you once we finish, you know? But I'm glad. I got to fix my leg. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I'm so glad we did it. It was just, I laughed so hard on that ride. I mean, it's not like we've never rode it.
And we were all together.
And then, you know, I was thinking of funny things too, like just from a tracking standpoint. Like, does this add miles to your to your race? You know, like does it screw up your tracking? You know, like I don't know. Like it was
so fun. I was just like so happy we were together. And like in my head, as this is progressing, I'm like, oh my gosh, this race is nothing like I thought it would be.
No,
like
I think it was just such a release.
Yeah,
like the whole few days, it was exactly I think what we all needed. I'm so glad we did it.
So we carried on through the Animal Kingdom parking lot. We saw the grave diggers. Yeah. The line was really long.
It was too long. Wasn't really moving.
We were like, we stood there for a few minutes and then we were like, let's keep going.
Yeah, we carried on. Yeah, so then we're back on the highway, and then after the mile 15 mark, we saw Steven because I was hungry. I needed some food. And we also we took off our shirts by then. And we had them tied around our waist. So our good friend Steven met us. It was after the bridge, right?
Right after the bridge, kind of near McDonald's.
Yes, that's his secret spot. He loves that spot. And I had the night before we saw him at the Wave, and I gave him a whole wheat bagel with peanut butter on it and 2 Gatorades and some other snack items. I should have, in retrospect, I should have gave him 3 because we end up all wanting to drink the Gatorade.
Yeah.
Because we were just the cherry Powerade. I cannot believe we have not talked about the cherry
Powerade. Oh my God. How have we not talked about this yet?
Oh my God.
That was horrible.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
I think you hated it more than me, but
yeah,
I still didn't like it. I was excited.
I'm not a big fan of Powerade, but typically I can drink it just fine, but this was like this odd cherry flavor, and it was like the mixed stuff. So like they had to like mix it.
It's like chocolate.
It wasn't like the bottled stuff that you'd get. It was weird.
That Gatorade tasted so good. Thank God you had Steven bring it.
Yeah, the Gatorade was so good.
I didn't want to load Steven up with 3. I should have said we could each had one, but we all shared between the 3 of us. We shared the 2 Gatorades. Rob, I think you had like half of my bagel.
Yeah, and then the Twizzlers. Oh my God.
Yes.
I know they weren't red vines, but
they were pretty.
And Shannon and Leslie actually caught up to us at this point.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
We had like a big reunion. There was Kimberly was there, Shannon, Leslie.
One of the funniest parts about that, I don't know if you guys noticed, I don't think we talked about it, but like as we're sitting there just feasting on all this food, you could see a lot of the runners running by going, oh my God. Where did they get all that? Where did they get all that?
Oh my God.
So it's a good tip lucky. If you can have somebody, somebody who's spectating, have them bring some food.
And that was a great location. Like that's what you kind of need it. You need that, like it's perfect. You're past the halfway, but you still got a ways to go.
Yeah.
Well, so then in the back of my head too, like this is where I really started struggling the last time I ran this race. Like this is where I was really hitting my wall. So I wasn't sure if that was going to happen again. So it's, it was something, I mean, I was feeling good at this point, but in the back of my head, I was wondering, okay, at what point am I going to hit my wall? Am I going to have to go off by myself?
I always have to have a mid-meal I could have had a cheeseburger and fries and still kept going. So, Rob, I was surprised you ate as much as you did because normally you don't eat that much.
I usually don't.
Right.
I usually don't eat that much, and I don't know what it was.
It went down good.
It did. Because I think you offered me a piece of the bagel, and I wasn't even going to have it. And then, like, once I had it, I was like, okay. Just kept eating. I was like,
so thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Steven. You're a lifesaver.
You were a lifesaver. And he took our sweaty, disgusting shirts.
I know. Poor Steven had that nasty. Oh my gosh, all those clothes.
Yeah, so that's definitely a good hint if you can get someone. But Steven's ours. Back off. We claim him. But
don't even think about it. No, just kidding.
So then up next, they had these hippies by a band.
Okay, I forgot about them.
Yeah, about babies.
What was the song that was playing? Do you guys remember?
Oh yes, let's do the time warp again.
That's right. That was fun.
And Leslie was all about it because she got all excited.
She was really dancing.
That was nice. It was nice to break up the monotony of the highway.
I'll take any entertainment. It's great. I mean, it doesn't have to be a character.
Yeah, it was like right after this, they had the guys on the trampoline, right? Like there was.
Yeah, after the mile 16 mark, they were on the right.
Yeah.
Bob would have been very impressed by the skill.
And the next character stop, I really liked how they incorporated to all the ugly construction going on. Pluto was right before we kind of turned to Wide World of Sports, but he had like a safari hat or something. That made him
is that where I had to stop to get Vaseline on my toe and you guys went ahead and I had to catch up?
We made it for you though.
Yeah,
we didn't do the character.
I'm looking for the red mini outfit, and there was like 1,000 people wearing those red mini outfits. It was not a good choice, There
was a lot of mini. It was hard to keep track.
I think you kind of ran up and got the picture with us, but like probably didn't register what was happening.
That's right. Well, you have the picture, so I need that for the recap then, so I don't have it. So you guys send that to
find that.
I clearly not seen all these pictures.
Okay. So then we entered into ESPN, which some people don't like, but I love.
Me too.
ESPN.
I love it too. And Rob, I think you've changed your ways, your hateful ways. Didn't you hate ESPN?
Oh, I hated it with the passion. Well, again, so to go back a couple of years, that's where I was really hurting. I was really looking to get through the rest of the race, and I really had a hard time in Wild World of Sports. I felt like it took me forever to get out of there. This time was a way different experience because we had a lot of fun. And not that I didn't stop for characters the last time, I did, but this time I thought it was better because I was with the two of you.
Duh.
Aww. But it was right away. We saw was the soccer fields, right? We saw Minnie.
And
I've never seen that. Yeah.
Well, so because you guys you needed a bathroom again, and all the bathroom lines were extremely long. But then I kind of looked off to the right, and there was these porta potties way off on the right that nobody was using.
Yeah,
there's no one.
So I'm like, why don't you guys do that, and I'll go get in line for Minnie.
That was cute because Minnie was in her soccer gear too, and that was a cute.
She looked cute. That's like one of my favorites.
It was mile 17, and we saw a high school band was out, and I think Goofy was after mile 18, right? The track.
He was on the running track.
Yeah.
And we were like excited. We were like, oh, didn't Rob's like, I'm going to go sprint ahead. And he ran really fast. And I don't think it benefited by like one person because we got in line.
I don't think I moved. You guys came up and I hadn't moved at all. And I was like, I don't think this is going to happen.
So, like we were like, it's not, we're like waiting. And not to complain, but you'd hope or wish like they'd keep people moving, it's not.
He was getting very animated with people.
He was socializing. Goofy needs to just be quiet during. I don't know. He was getting a little too chatty with each person. It wasn't moving, so we bolted from the line.
Yeah,
carried on toward the stadium.
Where we saw the next character out was Mickey and Donald, and they were in their baseball uniforms. So,
and it was at this point we started having people yelling at us that the balloon ladies were like only, not far behind.
This is where I had I had a bigger freak out than Everest because my head was like ready to explode. I'm saying nothing. I'm like looking at Rob, and Rob, you were being so confident. You're like, it's fine. We're okay. And had you said, no, let's go, I would have been like the freaking road runner. There would have been cartoon clouds of dust from my feet, and the beep, beep, and the zoom, so I was like, I was kind of,
it's one of those, I think it's one of those things, like, I think we were all in pretty good sync with each other. Like, we were all running together just fine. I didn't get the sense that anybody was struggling. I felt like we were really good. And honestly, I felt like we hadn't pushed ourselves at all. Like, if we really had to, we could have.
Says the speedy ones. Just so you all know, I felt like I was pushing myself. Though I was like, I ran so hard that whole marathon, but you guys didn't feel like that, but I did, because it was to me it was a faster pace than I'm used to.
And just thinking of the course, I mean, we were at a point where we weren't that far from the end. I mean, if you think about it.
I knew I was okay at that point.
Yeah.
Plus, my experience from the last 2016, I was right near the end, so I knew I wasn't in that position. Yeah. So I had a different state of mind, I think, than to you, Laura. This was the furthest back you'd ever been.
Yeah.
But to me, I knew I was ahead than what I was at the last time I did it. So
I was glad that Rob made the call, because I really want that picture.
It was a good one, and I love those guys. So
I kind of let Rob make the decision, because then we'd have someone to blame.
But then we saw an even greater character photo after this, and I was totally not expecting to see it, especially in Wide World of Sports. But it was Joy and Sadness from Inside Out, and I was like, "We're stopping. I don't care. Balloon Lady's coming."
Oh my gosh! So, and they had this huge set behind it where they had a TV screen. It was fantastic. Oh my gosh!
It was really cool.
And it was so perfect because
perfect.
I sat next to Sadness. I stood next to Sadness, and what did I said something to her of the effect of, it's like, "Oh, I hope you're feeling better," or something like that. And she just put her head on my shoulder.
No,
I just put my head on her head, and it was just really
cute.
Nice.
That was an adorable picture. So then after that, we ran through the stadium, which is always fun.
That was cool.
I liked it a lot more this time. I hated the stadium last time.
After we came out, they had a bunch of dancers that were dressed as football fans. Rob saw a Patriots guy, so we stopped so we can get
a picture with the best team in the NFL. But then we leave, so it was kind of eerie, because we left Wide World of Sports,
and nobody's going in,
and there's nobody behind us coming in. It's like, wow,
and
we are legit at the end of this race.
And the crowd was clearing. So at this point, I think we're hitting 19, 20.
What did I miss? Yeah, we had mile 20, and then Jackie in front of the box office. You and I did our huggy pose in front of the blue red. Gotta have a huggy somewhere. And then
you run the highway basically toward Hollywood Studios, right, at this point?
Yep, up that.
Is there any more characters?
We saw Sarge.
Sarge is out yelling at us.
That was before mile 22. And then I don't think we saw anything between mile 22 and 23, but for the 23 side, we did stop for a really cute picture. It was the Monsters, Inc. So we all were roaring. I love that sign. That was a really good one.
And then right after that was Oswald, right?
Well, first they were giving out candy, and it was good candy this year.
It's like M&Ms and Snickers, and it was good.
I was scared I didn't eat it.
I know, but Jackie, you were supposed to get one then and give it to your friend Laura.
I should have.
Didn't your mama teach you
I don't know why. I was just like, I don't know how my body will react at this point.
So
because again, remember, I'm running harder than I'm used to. So.
But then we came into one of my favorite parts, coming into Hollywood Studios by Tower of Terror, which I thought was phenomenal. I love that.
That was cool.
Right before that, we saw Oswald right by the Hollywood Hills Amphitheater.
Yes.
Which was great, because
he's not usually on Disney.
He's not usually in the Florida park, so it's and the line wasn't that long.
Oh my gosh, it was like 4 people in line. I think people were getting nervous at this point, but I knew we were okay.
And I was like, maybe we could ride Tower of Terror.
There's no way at that. I think the line was like 60 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
Oh wow. Well,
without a line, that can take a little while to get through.
Well, then we ran down. What is it, Rob? When you run
Sunset Boulevard.
That I tell you what, that's probably one of my favorite photo passes ever. The 3 of us, and we're holding hands, and we're racing them up. That was great. And then, of course, Jackie and I saw our sign that we always get a picture with in front of the one store, so we had to stop and pose for that. And this is like one of the signs where we got to look seriously at each other.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that picture.
It usually takes 1,000 takes to get it right.
It's where like the movie actress has her hand on the actor's
Gone with the Wind.
chest. Huh?
It's Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. And Jackie put her hand like right on my boob, and I'm trying to be serious, and I knew we have a lot of time to fool around.
We're like, we got to nail it first shot. We got to nail it.
I was like, the little ladies are coming. We can't stay here all day.
Right. This is not a photo session. So
I was so proud of us because we usually bust out laughing.
Well, I almost busted out laughing because Jackie would like legit just grab Laura's boob, and I was like, and she was so serious about it too.
And we got it though. It was like, hurry up, Rob, take it. And we posed.
I can't believe you don't have that one. I gotta send it to you.
I don't think I do. Maybe I do. I don't know. There's
I'll send it to you. That was great.
And it was really gridlock running through toward Boardwalk at this point, wasn't it?
Always is.
We couldn't even run if we wanted to. I think we were just walking.
It's always log jammed over there.
And then we saw our good friend Steven again.
And what did he have this time? Oh boy.
Rob did a Jello shot.
He had a cooler full of them. I'm like, well, we can't let these go to waste.
Oh my God.
It was funny. We asked him, it's like, did you want to get rid of these? Because we know we're getting to the end of the race, and he had a cooler full of them. And he was like, well, I don't want to bring them all back. And we just started yelling, Jello shots. And it was like, I think I likened it to piranha feeding. It was just this.
It was so funny.
People that ran over and grabbed them all. Like,
we're like, calories, we'll take them.
Booze.
Yeah.
Why do I have awesome sign written by mile 25?
No, we're not there yet, because that's when so after we get to the boardwalk, we run around the boardwalk, which is great. We love running around the boardwalk.
Oh, I never
over by Beach Club. And then we went in.
I was kind of like getting to a point though here where I was like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. And I don't know. I feel like I know I was kind of getting tired at this point. I was like, I was having fun. I didn't want it to be over, but like my body wanted it to be over.
At this point, I think we're a little over 7 hours.
Yeah.
Since we started. This was
guys.
a long freaking race.
We weren't walking. We were running too. It's all stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
when we came into Epcot, into World Showcase, as you kind of cross over into France, they had that special mile 25 marker for the anniversary. It was a giant mile marker, for the 25th anniversary. So that was a great spot.
Yeah, that was a special mile marker for.
And they left it out too, because I got a picture of it when we all did pictures. So they left it out for people that were touring the parks later on. So that was really nice.
That was cool.
So then we came through Magic Showcase. And, we saw some princesses.
Yeah, it was cool how they had it set up. They had all the princesses out. And if you were a runner, you basically could just run up and get your picture taken.
Yeah, because it was hard to tell because there were so many guests at this point in the park. And I don't know which princess it was, but I was like, are these for us or for them? I asked the cast member, and because I'm like, where's the line? There's all these guests in line. And he goes, no, these are for the runners. He goes, if you're here, you go first. So I think we walked right up. Yeah, we were like,
so the first ones were Belle and Aurora in France.
Yes.
And then Snow White was out, we heard, but we didn't see her when we went by.
Oh, bugger.
I know. We saw Jasmine.
Yes.
And we saw Mulan.
Yes, Mulan. It was a gorgeous Mulan.
I thought they were all great. I thought these were like the best looking princesses I've ever seen.
But the Mulan to me was especially striking, and she was like, "Oh, so you brought your general with you?" And I'm like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Oh, Rob, yeah." So Rob was a general from.
I didn't get it. I missed it too.
So, yeah, it was fun. And then somewhere along the line, we saw a lot of people cheering with their medals. And this group, they were all wearing these Mickey hats.
Oh, yeah, the Mickey hats.
For the marathon. And we're like, oh, man, were they selling these at the
Expo? We were thinking, like, where did everybody get these hats?
Yeah. Yeah. I never thought they would be at the finish line. Like, I was just like, oh, man, maybe they got the retreat. That's what I was thinking. Like, maybe these are people who did the race retreat and they gave them a free gift. It took me a while to register.
We'll get to that in a bit, but we had to set that one up. So then we came into Future World, and we came to Spaceship Earth, and we did decide to stop, and we did go for a jump shot, and we nailed it. That was fantastic. I love that. It's probably going to be our profile picture once I change everything over.
If you're following the podcast, that is our new picture right now.
I love that picture.
Oh, that's great. And then it felt to me like World Showcase just took forever. It was a mile, but in your head, you're like, you're almost done, but a mile's still a mile. And it took a while. It felt like, because I remember seeing Mexico and being like, oh my gosh, it's so far away.
Well, that's the thing. Cause it's a circle. You can kind of see everything. And it always feels longer whether you're walking or having to get from point A to point B, it always feels like it takes longer there.
Yeah.
But then we were finally getting toward, did we stop at the bathroom there? At mile 26? I think we did, didn't we?
Was that the day? I think we did. Because
yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We were like, let's get in the bathroom. Let's go so that we can, enjoy the post-race stuff without, having to go to the bathroom. So, yeah, we all stopped. We went into the bathroom and, we knew the balloon leaders were, I don't even know if we ever saw them, but we knew they were close.
No,
we never saw them. So. And we went to, we got our mile marker sign. Was there a gospel there?
Yep, they had the gospel out.
I can't remember that. And then we crossed.
Then we
finished.
Woo! And our finish was fantastic, but there's people behind us had an even more fantastic finish. Jack, I'm going to let you go with that story.
All right. So we
got our medals
finished.
First, though, right? We got our medals.
Yes, we finished. We get our medals. And my cousin Shannon texted.
No, we didn't.
And she,
did we even get our medals? No, we crossed the finish line and we stopped. The medals would be later.
Were they? Okay, yeah, because maybe we were all together for that.
Because we crossed the finish line and you said, oh my God, Shannon's like right behind us.
I'm like, she's right behind us. She's at mile 26.
So we pulled over and we were trying to wait and we kept talking to the cast member there. Like, listen, we have friends that are coming.
Yeah, she's like, you guys at first she's like, you need to keep going. You need to keep going. And I'm like, please. I'm like, my cousin's coming. This is her first marathon. Please, can you just let us stay here and wait for her? And you could tell she wanted to say yes, but she was a volunteer. She wasn't like an official Run Disney employee. So she was probably told, make everyone keep moving. And I was like, please, she's got to be here. And we're looking for her mini outfit. And is that her? Is that her? And the lady's like, just stand by the fence. She just said, you can stay here, but stand by the fence. So that was like the longest, 2 minutes. And all of a sudden
we were like, oh, there she, no, because they were wearing mini gear too. And so it was like 1,000 other people.
And then the real cast member from Run Disney came over and she's like, you got to move. And I'm like, please. And for some reason she let us stay. And next thing you know, we see Shannon and Leslie and we are all just screaming.
Oh, the video. I'm like a little banshee in the video.
And they were with our friends Josh and Kimberly and I think Jen, who had just finished her first race, and Shannon amazing. Was just
everybody was finishing together. Like I don't
it
know.
really was so
really
cool.
We all kind of
and it was very emotional. Like Shannon's just sobbing.
I wasn't ready for it.
Rob, who's like Mr. Non-Emotional, was like, "Holy crap!"
Her reaction even got me because she crosses the finish line, she starts bawling. I mean, this is a huge moment for her. It's not only
it's really
cool. Marathon she just finished. I mean, she just did the Dopey Challenge as her first marathon. I mean, that's crazy.
And for us all to be there, I think it was really, really cool. It was a really special moment.
You could tell it was funny. The cast member that was next to her, so you could see it in her face. She was like, "Oh crap!"
She's like, "I'm so glad I let these people stay." She goes, "Come over here. Let me get your picture." Like she let us stay even longer, and then we all went and got our
picture too. I love the picture because I have a hand on Shannon's shoulder. Josh has a hand on Shannon's shoulder. And it was very emotional. I mean, for everybody. I mean. That was Leslie's first Dopey. She did, and Kimberly, she's been dealing with Lyme disease, so it's been a struggle for her. She wasn't feeling well the whole weekend. So, and her dad did his first too.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Great.
All right, ladies. Any other thoughts? Closing remarks? Marathon week, Dopey Challenge.
I think we have hit this topic and hit it hard.
We certainly have. As always, thank you so much for listening. For Jackie, Laura, and myself, have a joyful week, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Good night. Joyful miles.
And congratulations to all the Dopey, Goofy, Marathon, half, 10K, 5K, whatever race. You did it. Congratulations.
Woo woo.
I got a little confused there.
You did good.
I think we're good.
How long was that?
That was long. Are we going to have to do a two-parter?
We'll trim it down.